From the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., this is NewsVision, a newscast written, reported, and produced by Capstone journalists in the Department of Media, Journalism, and Film.
Good afternoon. I'm Lindsey Desir. You're watching NewsVision, the capstone course for broadcast journalism at Howard University, where we bring you the news that matters to you. There's plenty to watch in the Tennessee state capitol, as one of the lawmakers who was expelled from his job last week was reappointed to it on Monday. By a 36-0 vote, the Nashville Metropolitan Council reappointed Justin Jones as an interim representative. Jones, along with fellow Democrat lawmaker Justin Pearson, were expelled last Thursday. The two men and a third Democrat representative, Gloria Johnson, had protested what they saw as an inadequate action on gun control, days after 3 students and 3 adults were killed in a school shooting in Nashville. Jones and Pearson were expelled, cited by Republicans for violating decorum on the House floor. Many, including Johnson, who survived her vote, questioned the vote to oust 2 black men and keep her. Jones re-entered the Capitol, reinstated Monday.
The people of District 52, 78,000 people have a voice in this chamber once again.
It's still unclear if or how the political shakeup will impact Tennessee gun laws. 6 people are dead and 8 more have been hospitalized after an active shooter opened fire in downtown Louisville Monday morning, according to the Louisville Metro Police Department. The police have confirmed few details regarding the incident, but has confirmed that the shooting occurred at Old National Bank in the 300 block of East Main Street, which is near Louisville Slugger Field. The FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were both responded to the scene. The police confirmed later Monday morning that the shooter is dead and identified him as Connor Sturgeon, a 25-year-old employee of Old National Bank. Last year, fentanyl involved nearly every fatal overdose in the nation's capital. We have Victoria Baker here with us today to tell us more about the opioid crisis. Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Lindsey. Policymakers in the district are doing what they can to reduce the number of fatalities. I spoke to the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department about how they're handling this crisis.
Experts say that in recent years, fentanyl has flooded the nation's illegal drug market as it is a cheap opioid to produce. Harm reduction expert Shane Sullivan warns drugs that users may think are heroin, oxycodone, or cocaine are being laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl appears in fake tablets, pills, and gel capsules, attempting to mimic certain prescription drugs. In 2017, fentanyl was involved in 72% of overdoses in D.C. In 2022, according to data collected from D.C.'s Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, that number rose to 96%.
Trendy to take Percocets, like people think that it's fun, it's a fun thing to do. It's fun to take drugs. So I feel like it be people young as like 14, 15 taking opioids in my community.
If given in time, Narcan, also known as naloxone, can save the life of someone who is overdosing from opioids. It could stop an overdose and restore normal breathing until emergency response can arrive. D.C. officials have expanded access to the overdose-reversing drug naloxone in pharmacies across the city in recent years. In a statement released from the district's mayor, it was announced that all law enforcement officials are equipped with Narcan.
They've given us tools to, combat people who's overdosing or whatever the case may be, like Narcan. So.
The district offers free testing strips, which can be used to see whether drugs are laced with fentanyl. Reporting from the campus of Howard University, this is Victoria Baker with NewsVision.
D.C. has also opened sites where users can access free substance use disorder counseling and medicated assisted treatment. Thanks, Victoria. It's good to know that there's help available to those who need it. Thank you. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court heard arguments from the state lawmakers opposing the Biden-Harris student loan debt relief plan. Activists and members of the Black community, however, believe student loan debt forgiveness is a quality of life necessity. NewsVision reporter Shanell Holback with the story.
College students and graduates across the nation are anticipating the Supreme Court's decision on the Biden-Harris student loan debt relief plan. African American borrowers in particular are keeping a close eye on the outcome as this decision can impact their future. According to the Education Data Initiative, Black college graduates owe $25,000 more in student loan debt than white college grads. This could make the Supreme Court decision pivotal for the Black community. In a statement released by NAACP President and CEO Derrick Johnson, student loan debt has, quote, kept Black Americans from utilizing their education to attain upward mobility and create generational wealth. Student loan debt is crushing Black America. NYU graduate Blue Johnson tells NewsVision that $20,000 can't address the hurdle they face as a result of their student loans.
Low-key, I feel like my student loan debt impacted me in a way that I couldn't have foreseen. As a single drop in an infinite well, yes, $20,000 would be beautiful, but to my $400,000, no, it won't help me.
A decision from the Supreme Court is expected to be released in June. Reporting from Washington, D.C. for Howard University NewsVision, I am Shanell Holback.
Stay tuned to NewsVision as we will report the student loan Supreme Court decision as soon as it's released. It may not seem like it, but it's been almost a year and a half since student protesters took over the Student Center at Howard. After 34 days of occupying the Armour J. Blackburn University Center, student protesters struck an agreement with the university administration on November 13, 2021, after signing a confidentiality agreement. I spoke with Howard students about whether they think the protest was successful.
The Blackburn takeover was a student protest that started on October 12, 2021 and ended on November 15th, garnering much support on social media.
It was right here where Howard students camped in tents for 33 days, the longest protest in Howard's history, and they demanded better living conditions and more transparency on the Board of Trustees. Now, over a year after a non-disclosure agreement was signed, many people are wondering, how effective was Blackburn takeover?
For former protest leader Jasmine Joof, there are both positives and negatives.
I think it was a successful protest in the fact that the dorms were improved and that the school actually started to address these issues, but I also see it as not a success in the way that the town hall never happened. I didn't hear anything else about that. Other people were running it. I decided to step back.
One of the main concerns for Howard students were the conditions of the dorms. West Tower's R.A. Chica believes there has been a positive change.
Right after the Blackburn takeover and everything happened, I think there was a period where things kind of started to spiral even more downhill, especially in West Towers. There was a couple more flooding incidents that happened in both West and East. Fire alarms were going off all the time. In Towers now, I have seen things kind of appear to be better.
Earlier this year, the university closed on a $300 million bond deal with the Preston Hollow Community Capital to fix housing issues. For Howard University News Service, I'm Lindsey Desir.
While there has been improvements made to the student dorms, many students are still waiting for more transparency on progress. Next up, learn more about how ADHD is impacting the Black community, updates on COVID-19, and how one woman is changing the lives of young African-American girls. When NewsVision continues after this break.
This is the news for those who need it. Here at NewsVision, we are not only anchors, directors, and producers, but we are your friends, your peers, and your students. From the hilltop at the Mecca to Capitol Hill, NewsVision is bringing you the news you need to know. We are NewsVision.
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 Mental health awareness has been a growing discussion within the Black community in recent years, including conversations around anxiety, depression, and more. But there's one mental health disorder that may not be known silently on the rise. Here is NewsVision reporter Evin Guilford with the story.
My apprehension is sort of because it's popular right now.
While many African Americans still have gone without screening for disorders such as ADHD, the American Psychiatric Association stated African Americans are more commonly diagnosed with ADHD than any other ethnic group. Since 2007, diagnoses have risen from 9% to 14% as of 2021.
So I feel like with everyone doing it, I don't know if the doctor would be like just, because everyone's doing it. So maybe I do have it, maybe I don't. but I also feel like I could struggle with something else.
ADHD can affect one's school, work, and social life. However, there are many factors that go into overdiagnosis of ADHD for African Americans. Dr. Kiana Nix talks more on why this disparity may occur.
I would say because, blacks are commonly in the lower socioeconomic status, or, we're subjected to racial discrimination. It can exacerbate the diagnosis of ADHD.
Dr. Nix, as well as other physicians, recommend journaling, reading, exercise, and meditation as medical alternatives for those who are looking to cope with ADHD, and encourage anyone who may think they have ADHD to go get tested. In Washington, D.C., I'm Evin Guilford, reporting for NewsVision.
It is extremely important that African Americans continue to get screened for ADHD by their physicians, and untreated ADHD can lead to enhanced symptoms that they may already have. If you are ever in doubt of being misdiagnosed with ADHD, it is recommended that you seek a second opinion so you may receive proper treatment. The national emergency for COVID-19 is officially over, more than 3 years after it was declared by then-President Trump. The White House says that President Biden signed legislation on Monday that ended the national emergency for COVID-19. The White House has opposed the measure, but did say that the president will sign it if it's passed. The administration had planned to end the national emergency on May 11th, which is also when the public health emergency is set to expire. That still remains in effect for 1 more month. White House official says that administration has been winding down pandemic-related authorities over the past few months. Gender equality has been a frequent topic of discussion in recent news and has been touched the campus of Howard University. The Howard University ended Women's History Month with a town hall event partnered with the United Nations organization He for She. NewsVision reporter Evin Guilford has the story.
It's about action for me, allyship or co-conspirator. It's getting involved.
On Thursday, March 30th, Howard University hosted the He for She town hall event entitled Gender Equality at the Mecca, co-hosted by the Office of the President and the Center for Women, Gender, and Global Leadership. The main panel event was moderated by Professor and alum Jennifer Thomas and included a discussion on the state of gender equality on Howard's campus.
Howard has a large female presence on campus, and I think the campus should reflect that in terms of opportunities, in terms of whether the academic buildings are named after women.
The discussion touched on many relevant topics for how both men and women can contribute to gender equality, and left many students with takeaways.
Howard is a predominantly female space, and how competition between women on campus can kind of hinder our development. And so just being an advocate for fellow women and just lifting up, especially people that are in lower classifications.
As Howard University continues to stride towards creating an inclusive and equitable campus, events like the He for She Town Hall will continue to play a crucial role in promoting gender equality. From the campus of Howard University, this is Evin Guilford reporting for NewsVision.
The He for She Town Hall event was a powerful and inspiring event that highlighted the urgent need for gender equality at Howard University and beyond. The event ended on a high note, with attendees feeling empowered and committed to taking action to promote gender equality in their communities. There is a shortage of affordable short-term abroad and leadership development opportunities for people of color. But school teacher turned nonprofit owner is working hard to change those statistics. NewsVision reporter Makailah Gause has the story.
Sydney Farley has always been passionate about international travel.
I traveled a lot. I went to 15 different countries during that time. And one thing that I noticed is whenever I would be traveling, sometimes I would see student groups. And a lot of times in those student groups, there would maybe be one Black person or no people of color at all.
iFly Youth develops middle school age girls of color into global leaders through international travel and community building activities.
the majority of them the first time they've ever traveled outside the country as well. So like it's a very eye-opening experience for them. A lot of them feel a lot more independent. A lot of them are interested in more like volunteer and like service work as a result.
After the annual trips abroad each summer, Sydney's mission is fulfilled.
She's also taken on more leadership roles when she came back for her 8th grade year at school. She was, willing to be a part of certain leadership initiatives.
The number of girls impacted by their international travel experience continues to grow.
I think that one way to make changes by learning from others. And so we want to get them out and exploring the world. And so hopefully like this is not the last trip that they ever go on. It's just the first of many.
Sydney not only hopes that iFly Youth serves as that initial stepping stone in creating the future world travelers of color, but she also hopes to have inspired the young ladies to become change agents of their communities through their learned travel experiences. Reporting from Embassy Row in Washington, D.C., I'm Makailah Gause with Howard University News Service.
Sydney tells Makailah that her real goal is to get her girls to the motherland of Africa. For more information on how to donate and support young girls of color traveling internationally, they can be found online at iflyyouth.org. Now you're in the know with NewsVision. For all of us with NewsVision, thanks for watching. Make it a great day.